I don't think I've ever shadow boxed from home. I don't think I've ever done that before. That was awful, by the way. Awful. Awful shadow box. Got to get him with the uppercut. What the hell's going on in the NBA, Laker fans? Jesus. Can I have a second to prepare? I mean, every time I create a thumbnail, something else happens. I got to change it. Every time I write down some freaking notes, something else happens. I got to change it. My gosh. It's Friday. Can we have a second? It's 4th of July weekend, basically. What is going on, Laker fans? Thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for being a part of the show. Wherever you are, wherever you're tuned in, wherever you're listening from, I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Slee weather. This is still my favorite of them all. Slee weather might be the greatest thing that I've ever seen, especially because I've never gotten an actual boxing fight in my life. So the fact that I'm compared to Slee weather means a lot to me. Laker fans, what is going on? Thank you for being a part of the show. Good to be here doing a live show. Free agency started earlier today, and damn, is a lot cooking around the NBA. I'm going to spend some time going over some of these signings that the Lakers made. The NBA is insane too. I think I'm going to record a separate one for just the NBA later, but this one will just be Los Angeles Lakers related. If you could please subscribe to the channel so you guys can see it. Clearly, I'm putting out more content here over these last couple of weeks, and I appreciate everybody being a part of the show. But if you could subscribe to the channel, greatly appreciate that. If you're looking for awful boxing, just rewind and see me coming in with my intro. Just awful. By the way, I didn't have room. The bed's in the way. The desk almost knocked over the mic, almost fell over the chair. There was a lot going on here. Okay, so Laker fans, this one just went down, and I'm going to kind of take my time to walk through all of these, and I'm not in a rush. Yes, it's Friday night. I get it. But when we're in the middle of free agency, we get a chance to talk Lakers basketball. Dennis Schroeder just signed a few minutes ago, it looks like, with the Toronto Raptors, 2 years, $26 million. So I'm going to start by recapping everything that's happened today. And I'm just talking Lakers. So I just want you guys to know this episode will just be about Los Angeles Lakers. I'm going to go through talking about some of the players that the Lakers signed, some of the players that the Lakers did not sign that was some way, shape, way, or form associated with the Lakers. And then we'll go from there. Okay, first things first. Dennis Schroeder just signed a 2-year, $26 million deal with the Toronto Raptors. I think the Lakers have an interesting relationship. Laker fans have an interesting relationship with Dennis Schroeder. I don't know how you feel about Dennis Schroeder, but I'll tell you how I feel about Dennis Schroeder. I thought he was the most underrated player for the Los Angeles Lakers last year. Basically came in when D'Angelo Russell in the playoffs struggled. I thought Dennis Schroeder was all over the place. I thought he was playing 30, 35 minutes a game. You kind of had to finish games with him. He's picking guys up from full court. He's being as much of a nuisance as he can to guys like Ja Morant or Steph Curry or you name the guard. I know some guards cooked him, but he did everything he possibly can to help the Lakers. And he just got paid 2 years, $26 million with the Toronto Raptors. And got to be honest with you, I'm happy for the guy. You know, this is the same guy a couple years ago, if you guys remember, reportedly had turned down a 4-year, $80 million contract, whatever it was. So the man got paid at least. At least he got paid from what he had turned down, what it was reported before. The 2 years, $26 million is a good paycheck for him. And I think he proved his value. And again, I want to give the man a ton of credit. I really do. I'm a fan of people that roll up their sleeve and come to work every morning and are trying to do everything they can to win. And I really thought Dennis Schroeder gave the Lakers everything he got. So I'm disappointed to see Dennis Schroeder leave, but I'm happy for him that he's going to go get that $26 million. Laker fans, I'm going to ask for a couple things here as we get the show going. If stuff breaks, I'm not kidding. You have to tell me because I got so many screens open right now. And yes, I could keep refreshing Twitter and everything else. But if something goes down, we're going to have to work together on this. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to work together on this one. So if somebody ends up signing or an offer sheet is out there, something like that, communicate with your boy here because I'm gonna need part of the help. All right, I'm gonna read off a couple of these comments. By the way, just gonna give you a heads up. It's gonna be tough to get to these comments. We got a lot of people in the house today. Um, Obviously, one way of doing that is the super chat. So if you have the ability to do that, I will do my absolute best to try to get to you. But this is going to be one of those days when you're doing a show and you're in the middle of free agency, and there's a lot of people want to talk, or that a lot of people want to hear from an idiot like me. Then it's going to be tough. Okay, so the Dennis Schroeder thing. Yes, I'm still at ESPN. Yeah, today's a crazy day. Crazy day at ESPN. So the business is an interesting biz. Let's just put it that way. But I got a couple of people asking me about that. Yes, still at ESPN. All right, real quick here. Top dollar. Where's the fedora, bro? I prefer Dennis to Gabe. Okay. The fedora is not with me. It's at the office. I'm here at home. I should have brought the fedora with me. You're right. I lose on that. I prefer Dennis to over Gabe. Okay, so for those who don't know, let me break it down. Lakers so far today, they re-signed Rui Hachimura to a 3-year, $51 million deal. They signed Gabe Vincent from the Miami Heat, who was just in the finals, lost to the Nuggets, to a 3-year, $33 million deal. They signed Taurean Prince to a 1-year, $4.5 million deal. And I am just noticing one of my tweets. I'm going to have to adjust that, make that edit. $4.5 million deal is what he got, Taurean Prince got. And I'll kind of go over all these guys. And then Cam Reddish gets the vets minimum. He's going to be with the Lakers as well. So I'll talk about each one of these players. Let's start off with Gabe Vincent because Gabe Vincent just came up. Gabe Vincent, maybe this has part to do with why Dennis Schroeder is not a Los Angeles Laker anymore. And by the way, I'm not 100% sure what's going to eventually happen with D'Angelo Russell. We're still figuring out what's going to happen to D'Lo. Austin Reeves, I think everybody feels is going to be back with the Lakers. And we'll kind of take it from there. But the Gabe Vincent deal, I think a good way to look at Gabe Vincent is this. 3 years, gets 3 years, $33 million from the Lakers. Just to kind of point out for those who don't know all that much about Gabe Vincent, I'm going to remind everybody, everybody's talking about Gabe Vincent because it's a very unique story. He's an undrafted player. For those who know, obviously I do the morning show with Travis Rogers. Travis went to UC Santa Barbara. Gabe Vincent, he would always talk about because he's an undrafted player out of UC Santa Barbara. So it's not like the man came from a big conference. It's not like the man came into this league where everybody wanted him. No, undrafted player, but he was a key piece to the Miami Heat's championship run against the Denver Nuggets. Remember who Miami got through to get to the finals? They got through the Milwaukee Bucks, and they got through the Boston Celtics. They got through the Knicks as well, but Miami and Boston, that was 1-2 in the West, and the Heat were a number 8 seed after they lost in the play-in tournament. So these are Gabe Vincent's numbers, and I'm not, the numbers that you're going to hear for Gabe Vincent, I'm not trying to sell you on that this is the greatest player in the history of the NBA or that he is such a big free agent steal. But I'll tell you a little bit about Gabe Vincent. So 27 years old, averaged about, you could say, under 10 points a game last year. Not old, only 27 years old. And if you were watching any part of the NBA playoffs, then you know that Gabe Vincent, who was basically averaging about 30 minutes a game for Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley, and the Miami Heat. The dude was getting big time minutes, and he kind of has this grit and his grind to him. And I guess you have to if you're an undrafted player and you're trying to kind of make your way into the league. I'm sure you had to work your ass off to get where you are. And that kind of is Gabe Vincent. By the way, pretty good 3-point shooter. By the way, not afraid of the big moment. went up against as good as competition as you could face and stood right there in front of that competition and had no problem being on one of the biggest stages in all of professional sports, which is the NBA playoffs and the NBA finals, and flourished. He was better actually in the playoffs than he was in the regular season. That says a lot to me, who I keep kind of emphasizing how important it is to have players that you feel like are winners, that find ways to win, that can fit inside of a certain culture, that could um, be the type of player that you can look at and say, I know if I throw this guy in at this time, he's not going to be intimidated. He's not going to be afraid of the moment. I get one of the comments there we had was, I'd rather have Dennis Schroeder than Gabe Vincent. I don't agree with that. By the way, that's yet to be played out because let's see how Gabe Vincent fits with the Lakers. But Gabe Vincent, I think, will be a more reliable shooter. And I think this is kind of a unique opportunity for the Lakers to bring in a player that was not really associated with the Lakers. I didn't really hear Gabe Vincent's name around the Lakers. I know available, but it's not someone that you heard, hey, there's a good chance that Gabe Vincent's going to be a Los Angeles Laker. All right, let me read some of your comments here. Let's see what we got here as I talk a ton about Gabe Vincent. Chef Lev, appreciate the super chat. LA wing depth is an A+. Gabe over Dennis. Finally, Lakers will have a flexible, young, huge team. Excited to our rookies, JHS, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Lewis, and Castleton are studs. I will say this: I know it's just the nature of the moment, so we're going to start comparing players. I don't think we need to compare. I get hey, I'd rather have Shooter, I'd rather have Gabe Vincent, whatever the case is. But I think over time, it's going to be a new player, and I think to go see Dennis Schroeder also go get paid some money, I think is a good thing. I really do. Actually, I'm happy for him that he was able to go get some money out there. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Gabe has been the underdog all his life, and he's beating the odds. Tell you what, Amaris, I like players like that. I know you need talent. I'm not saying that you don't, but there are certain players where you're counting me out. You don't believe in me. Well, I'm going to find a way to be there. And then they have the success that they're having. Kyle almost shot 38% from three in the playoffs. He was in big moments. I mean, I remember him. I think it was the series against Boston. Series against Boston is the one where TNT, I think, had him on. If the TNT crew brings you on, you're doing something. Okay, let me keep jumping here because I want to go to some of this other signings that the Lakers had. Let's see if there's any other ones on Gabe. I'm pretty sure majority of people outside Lakers fan base would take Gabe over Dennis. Okay. Needed a better shooter than Dennis, who was more consistent. By the way, I'm not one to knock Dennis Schroeder at all. But I like the signing of Gabe Vincent. I do like the signing of Gabe Vincent. Okay. Before I get into the other players for the Lakers, I want to spend a quick second talking about the re-signing of Rui Hachimura. So, like I said, I'm going to mention it again. This is what the Lakers have done so far today. They re-signed Rui Hachimura. They signed Gabe Vincent. Taurean Prince, they signed to a one-year, $4.5 million deal, and Cam Reddish on the vets minimum. A lot of wings, a lot of good size in that, guys that can switch. That part I like. Still think the Lakers need another big. And we'll get to that in a second. The re-signing of Rui Hachimura. I don't think it's a complete shock or a surprise or anything like that. Rui Hachimura, whatever you thought of Rui during the regular season, he kind of became a different man in the playoffs. He's only 25 years old. We saw what he was doing in the playoffs, and he had real impact for the Lakers in the postseason. I'm not talking about just one game or anything like that. I thought the fact that he has the wingspan that he has, the size that he has, does not look intimidated by the moment by any stretch of the imagination. Got to play alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis, which is so great for him because he's a nice player, but he's also not getting all the attention. Is with a franchise that values what he brings to the table. All signs were pointing that Rui Hachimura was going to potentially stay with the Los Angeles Lakers. And at least I'll say between the regular season and in the playoffs, I thought he was so much better in the playoffs. I want to say he averaged about 12 points, shot 55% from the field in the playoffs, had about 3.5 rebounds or so. His playoff numbers were better than his regular season numbers. Okay, well, what happens if Rui Hachimura gets an opportunity to be on the Lakers roster from the start of the season, get training camp with the Lakers, get a chance to play alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis and some of these other players from day one, play an 82-game grind with the Lakers, get even more comfortable with the city and the fan base and everything that kind of comes with the Los Angeles Lakers. I thought he was critical that they brought back Rui, and they did. I obviously think it's a good idea, and the Lakers obviously kind of put themselves in a position now to make sure that Rui comes back. But there's something that comes with Rui that he did not have last season. Okay, so I'm going to point this one out. I'm going to make sure that this, at least this portion of it, something's going to change with Rui Hachimura. By the way, a lot of people live right now. Thank you for being here. If I could use this quick opportunity to tell you, the first time you've been on the show, first time you've been on the channel, welcome. If you can please subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. I'll keep pumping out the content, but if you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be greatly appreciated. Got a lot of comments over here. Super chats, obviously open are the super chats. So if you got a comment, I'll do my best to try to get to it. If you do super chat, I will 100% get to it. Okay, so this is what's going to change here for Rui Hachimura. This one is, when you sign for 3 years, $51 million, a couple things change. First off, you got your bag. You deserve it. You put yourself in a position where you showed your value at the most important time, which is the playoffs. You're young. You're athletic. You've got the perfect NBA body. There's a lot of opportunity for you. We're excited. I think there's a lot of Laker fans excited about Rui Hachimura. But when you sign for 3 years, $51 million, something comes with that. Expectations comes with that. You know, I sent this tweet out a little bit earlier once Rui got signed. And there's a reason why I said it. Once the news came out on Rui, I said, well-deserved for Rui. Now he's got to live up to much different expectations every night. Will be a critical piece to Lakers' success these next couple of seasons. The point that I'm trying to make there is it's cute when guys are doing things and they're not taking up all that much on the payroll. I'm going to give you an example. I don't know how many different times I mentioned D'Angelo Russell makes $31 million. This past season, the moment D'Angelo Russell got traded to the Lakers to the moment that the season ended for the Lakers when they got swept to the Denver Nuggets, doing the pregame show, postgame show, whatever it is, I kept saying, hey, just a reminder, the man's making $31 million. He's supposed to do this. Or why isn't D'Angelo Russell doing more? He's making $31 million. That comes with the territory. That's the one thing I will say about Rui Hachimura. I think he earned the money. I'm happy that he's a Los Angeles Laker for the next few years. I'm happy that he gets to team up with LeBron James and Anthony Davis and grow off of what he just built with the Lakers. But with all that being said, I really do believe this when I say it. Expectations come when you start making money. And for Rui, when he has nights where he has 6 or 7 points and only had 4 or 5 rebounds, he's going to hear from it. He's going to hear from Laker fans. There is going to be criticism that comes towards him. And there are going to be expectations that comes with that. So excited Rui's getting paid. I do believe he deserves it. At the same time, Rui now is going to have new expectations that he's never had before. I know he was a number 9 overall pick, something like that. So the guy's a lottery pick. It's not like he's not accustomed to having some expectations. But let's be honest with each other. Expectations at the Washington Wizards, there isn't any. expectations with the Los Angeles Lakers, there's a ton of them, and especially when you're taking up some of that salary, now you got to be there every single night. It's why we criticize and we are all over LeBron every night and Anthony Davis every night. Those aren't great examples because they're two superstars, but you know what I mean. That it's going to be important now for Rui to also take his game to the next level, take on more responsibility, and just overall be a better basketball player that this Lakers team can rely on. Okay, let me read off some of these comments here. Hey, a lot of comments. Let's just say that. A lot of comments here. Hope these guys won't forget to shoot like Beasley. I will tell you the one thing on Beasley that would not have been smart, and I don't think it was ever a thing. Definitely would not have been smart if they kept Beasley there for that money. 16.5 mil or something like that he was going to get. Rui's a baller. He just needs touches. Well, that's going to be interesting too. What do his touches look like? Are they running plays for Rui? How much of the time are they running plays for Rui? Is it times where you're going to see Anthony Davis is out of the game and there's more of a focal point for Rui? Or they're going to ask him to, hey, you just got to find ways to find ways to get involved. And maybe that way is just as simple as crashing the glass and grabbing rebounds, getting putbacks, cutting all the time, trying to take advantage of those moments that you can because they're not always going to be there. Okay, let's see what we got here. The length, height, wingspan, more wings than Wingstop, baby. A lot of wings. A lot of wings on this team. Who doesn't love wings? All right, let me see here. All right, sounds like Derrick Rose signed with Grizzlies, I think. Somebody's telling me here. All right, would appreciate this. Hit the like button. Please subscribe. Thank you for that. A couple people here. I do wish we kept Dennis Schroeder. Let's see what else we got here. Gabe, Austin, Rui, Vando. That's a better supporting cast than the 2020 championship. I don't know, man. That 2020 championship, that squad was stacked. I think we forget Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, KCP, Kyle Kuzma, Rajon Rondo. Good. Danny Green. Really, really good supporting cast on that 2020 Lakers team. Thank you for the super chat, Yang. Appreciate that. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Anything else going down right in front of us? So I have my notes here of everybody that signed. I'm going to do an NBA video a little bit later today. I'll do kind of a recap, and this one I'm just going to keep it Lakers basketball. But a couple things that I could tie into the Lakers real quick. So Bruce Brown got 2 years, $45 million from the Pacers. And from what I understand, there's a team option on that second year for Bruce Brown. So the player that I spent 2 videos on, I mean, Bruce, I went out of my way. I made you the thumbnail of 2 of my last 3 videos. No respect to the Lakers? What the hell was I doing the videos for then? He went and got paid. He's a nice player. I like Bruce Brown. I think the way Bruce Brown looked at this was very, very simple the way Bruce Brown looked at the situation. It was as simple as this. I can go get $12.5 million with the Lakers for 1 year because that's what the Lakers can offer, or I get $12.5 million from – there were some other teams out there. The Dallas Mavericks was another one. Or I could just go get $45 million – or I'm sorry, I could go get $22.5 million guaranteed for 1 year, and then it's a team option for the Pacers next year. He put himself in a good position. He really did. Like I got to give Bruce Brown the credit. Watching him play in the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, the way he just took D'Angelo Russell like D'Lo didn't even exist. Damn impressive what he was doing. So I'll give him a lot of credit. But he went and signed 2 years, $45 million with the Pacers. Look, this is what I want to see more of. Bruce, ungrateful to Sliwa. You know, I've never met him, but I felt like I knew him. You know what I mean? You know when you feel like you know somebody and then they do this to you. Bruce fooled you, Sliwa. Unreal. Okay, super overpay for Indy, but good for Bruce. Anyone would take 22 million over the 12. Absolutely. And by the way, there's a good chance that the Pacers will say, "Hey, we'll keep you next year as well." Why wouldn't they? He's a good player. He's a winning player. I like. I think if there's a theme here that you try to surround your team with, you want players that care about winning. You know what I mean? You want players that just care about winning. Eric D, appreciate it, my brother. Thank you for joining the show. Someone did not like my Danny Green, that I thought he was a good role player. Danny Green was a good role player. All right, so the guy missed some shots. Okay, let me go over the last couple of guys that I want to. You know what I need to do is to just keep Twitter open here for a quick second and check to see if anything's changed. Derrick Rose, 2-year deal with the Memphis Grizzlies. Damn, how old is Derrick Rose? Man is still making his money in the league. Go make your money, D Rose. Okay. By the way, again, I think that's a strategic thing to put him on the Memphis Grizzlies, another team in the Western Conference around Ja Morant. By the way, Marcus Smart, I think, is a really good pickup for them. Not enough people talking about the Memphis Grizzlies. I think Memphis got a squad next year. I really do. All right, the other players that I want to get into for the Lakers, Taurean Prince signs a 1-year deal, $4.5 million with the Lakers. For those who don't know all that much about Taurean Prince, actually a nice player. Another one of these, you can kind of use him 3, 4, however you want to use him. Good size. Last year for the Minnesota Timberwolves, about 9 points a game, something along those lines. But he's a 3-and-D guy. I don't know. In today's NBA, can you ever have enough 3-and-D guys? We probably have enough of them because we also went out and got Cam Reddish as well. So there's another player that's probably more going to be a small forward. A lot of 3-and-D guys for the Lakers. So I think that kind of shows a little bit something. And I'm not telling you all these guys are going to play. Who knows how many minutes Cam Reddish is going to get? Who knows? Taurean Prince. Taurean Prince is kind of a grit grind player. I like that style of a player. So both of those players are also joining the Lakers, so something to keep in mind from that perspective. The other thing as well that I think, Eric D, very creative here. We got a prince and a king. This is why I look for these comments because I'm not going to know that unless Eric D points that out. I like players like this because I do believe that players that have that winning mentality, that there is kind of a respect to the players that have been here for a long time, understand that for the Lakers, it's all about winning and really nothing else. I think those are the types of players you want to have on your team. But overall for the Lakers, listen, I would have loved to have had Bruce Brown or Brook Lopez. And I'm just talking about 1 year for this upcoming season. Okay, that didn't happen. You re-signed Rui Hachimura, which I thought was important. I personally like the signing of Gabe Vincent. And then Taurean Prince and Cam Reddish. Let's see what those impact of those players will be for the Lakers. I think Taurean Prince will have more impact than Cam Reddish will. But let's see what the impact of those players are going to be. And I don't think that's a bad night. I really don't. Now, there's still a lot more decisions to be made. The one that's kind of interesting to me, by the way, Troy Brown Jr. looks like he's going to be joining the Minnesota Timberwolves, a player that I'm not going to lose any sleep over. I think has some potential, but ultimately at the end of the day, was not a player that you can really rely on. And as we went further and further, got further and further down the road, it's not like the Lakers were really using him. At one point, he was starting. That was early in the season, and that eventually all changed. Who's the other player that I was going to point out? So Gabe Vincent. And then the other one that was tied to the Lakers a little bit, Fred VanVleet went and got himself 3 years, $130 million. Read that again. Fred VanVleet got paid 3 years, $130 million. So give him a lot of credit for going out there and doing whatever he had to do, and give him credit that the Houston Rockets had a lot of money and had to spend it. But there's another player. I know I say it kind of joking around. Houston's got young players, a coach that coached in the league for 1 year and made it to the NBA Finals in Ime Udoka. They went out and got, obviously went out and got Fred VanVleet. You got the San Antonio Spurs that just picked up Victor Wembanyama. You got teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder that are probably the more up-and-coming teams. There's more excitement around the Thunder than there is any other young team in the NBA. The Pelicans at one point last year when Zion was playing and healthy, they were top 2 in the West. Forget all the other teams. There's a lot of young teams in the Western Conference that I think are going to be a problem, that I think are going to be a headache. Really the only team that I could think of that I don't see any much threat to is the Portland Trailblazers. What do they end up doing? So what did they end up doing with Damian Lillard? But just kind of shows you, damn, everywhere you look, there's another team in the Western Conference that's making, some kind of moves. Kyle Kuzma signed 4 years, $102 million. Who's the other guy? Draymond's going back to the Golden State Warriors, 4 years, $100 million. Kyrie was mentioned earlier today. I was doing my show and it was talked about, hey, Kyrie might be meeting with the Lakers. For what? What are they gonna have? Selling a timeshare? Like, what's the conversation going to be? Kyrie signed a 3-year, $126 million deal with the Dallas Mavericks. So he is going to be staying there. I know this, and I think there's going to be, different type of between now and by the time some new news comes out around the Los Angeles Lakers. I think overall, there's still things that are important for the Lakers to figure out. I'm going to say this again. I said it earlier. They got size in that small forward to power forward. Great wings, great size. I'd like another big. So that's the only thing that I think right now is going to be important for the Lakers to go out and get another big. And what eventually happens with D'Angelo Russell? The Austin Reeves thing, I don't think is as much of a conversation right now. I think the Austin Reeves thing, we're at 1940. Can we get to 2000? Can you guys text a couple of your buddies and say, hey, guys, Al is at 1940 on the live right now. He's trying to get to 2000. Can you tell your girlfriend who's hanging out or your buddy or somebody? We're just trying to get to 2000 here real quick. Please subscribe to the channel, by the way. Greatly appreciate that. Here, let me throw out a topic / scenario on the D'Angelo Russell front. Does the signing of Gabe Vincent do anything about the D'Angelo Russell? Does it do anything? Or is it, no, we just got depth now at the point guard position. You're going to have D'Angelo Russell, and then you're also going to have Gabe Vincent there. I don't want to say to the exact same role that you had with Dennis Schroeder and D'Angelo Russell, but that one's interesting because I haven't really heard too much there. It doesn't sound like also that there's a crazy market for D'Angelo Russell. Maybe I'm wrong here. Is there a crazy? Have you guys heard teams all over the place knocking on the door saying, "Hey, we got to have D'Angelo Russell on our team"? Maybe, just maybe, the Lakers are able to get D'Angelo Russell at a very efficient cost. Let's put it that way, right? Because there were times D'Angelo Russell, and I'm seeing a lot of people already giving their suggestions. Let's see what some of these suggestions are. People are saying, hey, give him 2 years, $20 million. That's going to probably be too low, but I saw another suggestion there. I think it was like 15 a year or something along those lines, whatever it was. It's going to be interesting to see what D'Angelo Russell's market is going to be and how much teams are looking to, let's see what we got here. D'Lo better be looking at this as improving his game to prove everyone wrong. Let me tell you something about D'Lo. D'Lo is not worth $30 million. I'll tell you something about D'Angelo Russell. $31 million for D'Angelo Russell, that's what he was getting paid last year, is insane to me. D'Lo is going to give you 17-6. He's going to give you 18-6, something like that in the regular season, but that's good for a team that's not competing. That's not good for a team that's trying to win an NBA championship. And they needed D'Lo last year in the playoffs. They needed him desperately against the Denver Nuggets. He did not deliver. That concerns me. There's certain players that during a playoff run or during a big moment, big opportunity, that's when they make their money. There's other players. I'm just using this as an example, and it's not to. You can lose a lot of money in the playoffs. You could be making a lot of money in the playoffs, or you could be losing a lot of money in the playoffs. And I thought for me, I thought the time that D'Angelo Russell threw that playoff run, he was clearly hurting himself in the playoffs because he just wasn't the player that the Lakers need him to be. And that has an effect on your free agency market. Of course it does. How does it not have an effect on your free agency market? Absolutely, it has an effect on your free agency market. So that part is the one that I'd be most curious to kind of pay attention to and see what eventually happens on D'Angelo Russell. Is there, hypothetically, is there a market for him, or are the Lakers looking at him saying, listen, we go looking around? I remember Jovan Buha, who covers the Lakers for The Athletic. There was a moment with him. He was on a podcast. I've had personal conversation with him. He's saying, well, where's all the money for D'Lo? Where's all the attention towards D'Angelo Russell? And if you're competing and there's 3 other teams offering 25 a year, okay, that's a different story. But I don't know if that's the case right now with D'Angelo Russell. So I'm curious to see how this one plays out specifically for D'Lo. Let's see what we got here. D'Lo's going to the Spurs. They have to spend. You don't have to. If you got money in the bank, you don't have to spend it just on things that don't make sense. Eventually, I think you want to spend it on things that make sense. Especially, they're going to want to surround themselves. Victor Wembanyama, there's definitely going to want to surround themselves with the right players around Wembanyama. Okay, let's see what else we got here. A lot of comments here. A lot of comments here. All right, what's the other thing that I wanted to get into? And I'm going to keep just refreshing Twitter. If something if something comes down, let me know as well. If there's any other signings or anything like that. Kuz is getting paid. Kyle Kuzma, who for a quick second there, we were talking about Kuz. He's getting 4 years, $102 million. And there was a report for a quick second that was, hey, maybe Kyle Kuzma, maybe he makes another stint with the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't think anybody ever thought he was going to leave the Wizards. I thought he was going to get paid there. I saw a couple of the tweets that he had. It's a good place for Kuzma. He's already got a championship. He's young enough. Bradley Beal is gone. Porzingis is gone. There's enough players there. Obviously, Jordan Poole is going to join him. That one is one of those, let me get paid a lot of money and try to become a star here. Do I ever think they're going to win? Probably not. To be honest with you, I don't. I just don't feel like that's going to be the case for the Washington Wizards. But Kuz got his 4 years, $102 million. Jeremy Grant signed 5 years, $160 million with the Blazers. Great. They're going nowhere. Cam Johnson got 4 years, $108 million to stay with the Nets. Middleton got 3 years with the Bucks for $102 million. So that's kind of been the day today. And I kept, every time I was about to hit live and I was about to start, talking about the Lakers and go through and everything, something else was happening. And it was tough to kind of figure out when to go live just because there was so much cooking. Here's what's left for the Lakers. Figure out a way to obviously bring back Austin Reeves. And the other thing is figure out what you're going to do with D'Angelo Russell. I will say, with the D'Angelo Russell piece of it, I'd rather have him on the team than not have him on the team. I know we've talked a little bit about that with D'Angelo Russell, that even if it's a player that you're not crazy about or his style or anything like that, he could still grind out 82 games for you. You'd rather have him than not have him. But the Lakers so far went out there and did some work today. And the work that they did, like I mentioned, re-signed Rui, signed Gabe Vincent, Taurean Prince, Cam Reddish, Dennis Schroeder is gone, Troy Brown Jr. is gone, and then some of these other names associated with the Lakers gone as well. Okay, I'm going to spend a few minutes here reading your guys' comments, and then I think we're going to call it a day after that and figure out if something happens down the road, if something else goes down, I'll just do this again. So if you got comments out there, put them out. And I'll do my best to get to them. All right, let's see what we got here. D'Lo's a good player, but we need to trade him. Gabe Vincent is a starter. Sign and trade the Bulls for DeMar or Jalen Suggs. Could I say this on the thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Could I say this on all those that are looking at the sign and trade? Who knows? Maybe that's what the Lakers are doing. Maybe they're thinking to themselves, all right, let's take our time here. If there isn't this crazy market for D'Angelo Russell, maybe there's another landing spot for him. Maybe he wants to be somewhere else. Maybe another team is willing to give him more than the Lakers are, and the Lakers are able to get players back that they feel like can help them this upcoming season. Laker fans, this could be um, this could be the final run for LeBron James with the Lakers. It could be. We saw it was a couple of days ago that Bronny James there was kind of a joke out there that not even a joke that ESPN had put something out. ESPN, I forget which network it was. Somebody put something out there talking about how Bronny James could go number 17. Atlanta Hawks would be the number 17 pick. And LeBron, joking around, all right, taking the gang to Atlanta. This could be the final year that he's a Los Angeles Lakers. So there is, to me, there is an urgency to try to go all in, especially in this situation. I got another one here. What's taken so long to re-sign Austin Reeves? Don't be surprised on this one. I think this one is Lakers give him the most that they can give him, and then it comes up to another team that can match that offer, or another team that can offer more. Maybe another team's out there. The Rockets are saying, let's give him 4 years, $80 million. The Spurs are saying, let's give him 4 years, $85 million. And then it's up to the Lakers to match that. I think it will happen. I don't feel like the Lakers, whether you think Austin Reeves is worth $25 million a year or not, I think he's a key player. I think it's an important player. I think he's a really nice player. And I think Austin Reeves is going to be a Los Angeles Laker. So thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate that. So I'm not overly concerned about Austin Reeves. I think it will eventually happen. I think Vince can replace AR if they're talking about Gabe Vincent. Is that what you're talking about? No need to. Bring them both in. Well, replace who? There's no need to replace anybody. Austin Reeves, first off, can't be replaced. He's too valuable of a player. Now the Lakers just got to go make sure that they eventually bring him back. Okay, let me read off a couple more of these comments here. All right. I'll take Austin over Fred Van Vliet any day. I would have liked both of them, to be honest with you. But just my opinion there. Lakers need to get a big man rim protector. AD got exposed by Jokic last year. Everyone got exposed by Jokic last year, FYI. Let me say this on the AD or on the big man. Lakers do need another big man. I agree with that. That's why I kind of like the idea of. That's why I like the idea of Brook Lopez. I thought that would be kind of a perfect player to play alongside Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has said in the past he's not crazy about playing the 5. So let's see what the Lakers do. But I don't disagree with that point. I don't disagree that the Lakers need size. Top dollar. Appreciate you tuning into the show. Thank you for that. All right, so let's get a couple more comments in here, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's see what we have here. Is Lopez is still a possibility, or are we going Love? It's funny. Unless you guys saw something, I kept looking on Twitter, especially before the show started, and I kept looking just to see. All right, what's Gabe Vincent, or I'm sorry, Bruce Brown was pretty quick. Okay, is this just going to be really quick as well with Brook Lopez? That wasn't the case. So that certainly wasn't the case so far with Brook Lopez. You hear a dog in the background? That's he's protecting the home. He's protecting the home. But if anything actually went down, he would be the first one to run, and everybody else has no shot. Okay. Couple more of these. What else we got here? Did the big man? I don't know about Thomas Bryant, but doesn't it feel like that ship has sailed? He wanted to leave the Lakers last year, so I think that ship has definitely sailed. Thomas Bryant can't play defense, so a couple people are talking about Thomas Bryant. I have seen this. Avita looks like he's on the trade market here. I don't see the Lakers and the Clippers doing a deal, so keep that one in mind there. I don't see that happen. Okay, Laker fans, I appreciate everybody on here. What an awesome, awesome live show. Did not expect this. Did not expect to go 45 minutes. I just wanted to go to get almost 2,000 people live talking Lakers basketball and want to be a part of the show. Means a lot. So I appreciate you guys all being a part of the show. Please subscribe to the channel. What I need to do is I need to do more. I need to do more lives. I know I've been doing more of just kind of recording the content, throwing it out. So let me kind of see how I can incorporate that a little bit better. But quick recap to the show. If you're just tuning in now, spent a lot of time. Rui, Gabe, Vincent, Taurean, Prince, Cam Reddish, some of the guys that the Lakers lost, and then obviously D'Lo and Reeves still to get figured out. I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you very, very much for being a part of the show, and hope you guys have a good rest of your night and see what goes down here in the next 48 hours or so, and we'll make sure to keep putting up the content. Thanks, Laker fans. Appreciate it.